Nobody becomes obsessed because something is important. They become obsessed because everything else isn't. Think about it. When your life is full of friends, full of goals, full of experiences, full of meaning, one person rarely consumes your mind. One goal rarely controls your happiness. One failure rarely defines your future. But when life shrinks, one thing becomes enormous. One person, one dream, one fear, one mistake, one unanswered message. Suddenly it's all you think about. Not because it's the most important thing in your life, but because it has become the only thing that feels important. And that's the strange thing about obsession. It doesn't grow when something gets bigger. It grows when everything else gets smaller. Most people think obsession is about wanting something too much. But if that were true, the happiest people would be the most obsessed. And they aren't. In fact, obsession tends to appear during the opposite periods, after a breakup, after a failure, after losing direction, after moving somewhere new, after a dream falls apart, after life becomes smaller. That's because obsession isn't created by abundance. It's created by a vacuum, and nature hates a vacuum. The moment empty space appears in your life, something rushes in to fill it. Sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's a goal, sometimes it's a fear, sometimes it's a memory, but whatever enters that space starts feeling larger than life. This is why the most dangerous thing about obsession isn't that it controls your attention. It's that it disguises itself as purpose. When you're obsessed, you wake up thinking about it. You go to sleep thinking about it. You have a mission, a direction, a reason to keep moving. From the inside, that doesn't feel unhealthy. It feels meaningful. And that's why people protect their obsessions, because letting go doesn't just feel like losing the thing. It feels like losing their purpose. Here's another strange truth. The more obsessed you become, the less you actually see the thing you're obsessed with. Someone obsessed with a person stops seeing the person, they see their future. Someone obsessed with success stops seeing the work, they see the validation. The obsession slowly replaces reality with symbolism. You stop chasing what something is and start chasing what it means. That's why getting the thing rarely ends the obsession. People imagine, if I could just get the relationship, if I could just make the money, if I could just achieve the goal, everything would finally settle down. But often the opposite happens. Because the obsession was never coming from the thing itself. It was coming from the emptiness around it. And when the emptiness remains, the mind simply finds a new object, a new person, a new goal, a new problem, a new fixation. Which leads to the biggest misunderstanding about obsession. People think the solution is removing the obsession, but that's like removing smoke while ignoring the fire. The real question isn't, what am I obsessed with? The real question is, what disappeared from my life that allowed this obsession to grow? Meaning, connection, direction, challenge, excitement, purpose? Because that's usually where the answer is hiding. And maybe that's why the way out isn't found by letting go of the thing. Maybe it's found by rebuilding the rest of your life. Because when your life becomes bigger, your obsessions become smaller, not because they matter less, but because they stop being your entire world.